Well, FiLMiC Pro has done it again, another new release. They've been on a tear recently, and today we're looking at 4K 60 ProRes. All right, this is an iPhone 13 Pro Max. To get ProRes, you have to have an iPhone 13, or if you're watching this video in the future, anything beyond the iPhone 13. And now, FiLMiC Pro has introduced 4K ProRes, which they've had for a little while. But what's new is you can now record 60 frames per second in ProRes. Now there is a caveat, and the caveat is technically Apple doesn't let you record 4K 60 ProRes yet. You can only go up to 4K 30 with the 10-bit 422 color. So what this is doing is recording in 10-bit 420 and then converting it to 422 within the app. That's some technical stuff, and really that would only affect you if you're doing some high-end color grading or visual effects, and even then it's pretty minor. You're still getting a 10-bit high data rate codec once it comes out of the phone. Oh, and this version of FiLMiC Pro is version 6.19.3, and this is on iOS. And just one quick note if you're curious, when you're shooting 4K 60 ProRes, unfortunately you still cannot access log or any of the cinematographer kit. So everything is just recorded in the natural standard Rec 709 look of FiLMiC Pro. You can only do log up to 30 FPS right now. Hopefully in the future with faster chips and better hardware, they'll be able to do 4K 60. It's my understanding it's a heat thing right now, and it can cause drop frames or corrupt files, and that wouldn't be good. So with that nerdy bit out of the way, when would you shoot 4K 60? Well, for me, I would only do it for slow motion. I shoot everything 24 frames per second, and so anytime I shoot anything above that, even 30, I consider it high frame rate for slow motion. And shooting 4K 60, you're getting a 40% slow-mo look when played back at 24 frames per second. So I shot two shots here, one 4K 24 frames per second, and one 4K 60, just to show the difference. And one note, I did not use ND here at all. So you'll have a very fast shutter. And so again, 24 frames per second is the standard frame rate, and that would be normal playback in quotes, because this video was uploaded to YouTube at 24 frames per second. Now 60 frames per second here will play back in slow motion because it's based on a 24 frames per second timeline. So this is a 40% slow motion look. And by the way, you could set this up in the app to conform to 24 frames per second, or you can do it in post-production. That's what I did here. Earlier this year, the guys at BeastGrip, who have the Beast Cam app, added 4K 60 ProRes to their app, and I did a video about that. And so I thought what I would do here is do a very quick comparison between Beast Cam, the FiLMiC Pro app, and then just the native camera app as well, not shooting ProRes because it won't do 4K 60 ProRes, just shooting in standard HEVC, which is H.265. First up, FiLMiC Pro. Now here's the Beast Cam app. And here's the native camera app. Beyond 4K 60, I just wanted to point out that they added a couple other new features. And I'm not going to go into detail about them today. I'm going to do another video about those, but they added a video HDR feature, which when you engage that, it actually works like old school HDR where it stacks images to give you better dynamic range. The other thing they've done, and this is really pretty cool, you can now choose which type of tone mapping to use, global or local. Tone mapping is the computational imaging aspect of the phone creating more or less more dynamic range within the image. And if you use global, it does it to the entire image. And if it does local, it just does it to a section of the image. One thing though, and I'm sure you're thinking, can we turn tone mapping off? The answer is no. But at this point, at least we can now control which type Apple uses when it's recording. FiLMiC Pro, again, cannot override that. But it's nice that we have that, video HDR, and of course, now 4K 60 ProRes. Well, thanks for watching, guys. This is Blake Calhoun. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.